Good evening and welcome to Stephen Leeson Show, brought to you live from Scientology Community Centre in Dublin. And tonight's show is dedicated to the theme of women's empowerment. We have two guests who exemplify this in their own special ways. And our first guest tonight is Donna Kennedy, 7-time best-selling author, highly sought-after professional speaker and mentor. Donna regularly features in media as an expert in the areas of personal development, and her work has been endorsed by many well-known personal development leaders and multinationals. Donna founded the Women's Empowerment Summit. The summit is Ireland's leading personal development event for women. And tonight, she is here in person to tell us all about it. Donna, you're very welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, I'm it's really great to start an interview, actually, with an intro with an interview. It's a change for us, isn't it? So it's lovely.
Yeah, I'm a special person. I've just come for you. I'm creating something new.
Welcome. So I'd like to start off. Actually, I love the 7 times best-selling author, and for me, I like say your 10 things. I really like that. But for you, have you a favourite book from those 7?
I think The Confidence to Succeed certainly is probably my favourite. Some of them are collaborations that I led. Say Your 10 Things is actually, that's not included in the 7. That's something that I did. It's more of a journal. It's dedicated to my mom, who passed away 7 years ago. So it's something that I think is very important to everybody. It's to lay your life on a foundation of gratitude. So my mum used to always say to me, make sure you say your 10 things every day. And I think that's something that I've passed on to people because it is powerful. But The Confidence to Succeed is probably my favourite.
Well, definitely gratitude every day is a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think, a lot of people can easily look for lack, because as a society, we're always kind of told, what we don't have, and fill the gap and look for the void and get this next fix that'll make you feel wonderful. When really, if people started off and think about even something simple. I mean, you wouldn't trade your eyes with me for €1 billion, so therefore be grateful for that. And sometimes it can be difficult for people to see, especially in tough times, that they do actually have a lot more than they think. Mm-hmm. And if you can kind of get into that mindset of that you actually have abundance as opposed to lack, it's an awful lot easier to see a way forward, to build on it. You have clearer thinking because you feel better about yourself. So yeah, gratitude is huge.
When did you write that book?
I wrote that, would have been just after my mom passed away, so about 7 years ago.
Oh, sorry, you said 7 years when you were...
Yeah, The Confidence to Succeed, I did that, I think, in 2015. And again, that's something, my life's passion is about helping people and giving them the tools and the skills. And I suppose the reason that's my favourite book is because there are exercises in it.
And where would you have picked up the tools to succeed, for yourself, to be able to write a book on it,
Well, to be honest, originally a book for me was, it was something that I wanted to do on my bucket list. And my first book was actually on property, which is completely different.
Oh.
But that was something that I really wanted to do, was to write a book. My passion, however, the books that I've written since are more about helping people. And I suppose that comes from when you've had a tough time yourself and you go on to, get to a level where, first of all, you kind of get a little bit of self-belief, and then that moves then into a state where you feel, you've got that conviction to help other people. And naturally, you want to write about it because you can't meet everybody in person, or you can't respond to every single person on social media all the time. But sometimes when someone has a book, it's almost like they kind of go into their own little bubble and you're still speaking to them. So my books are written in conversational style. And sometimes even a book, it can be, it can be very personal for somebody and just can give them enough to have a start, and sometimes even more than that.
So obviously, Donna, as a mentor yourself, you feel that Bob Proctor has been one of your mentors, and you were lucky enough to get to work with him and also to, meet him as well and spend time with him. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, believe it or not, Bob really wasn't a mentor to me as such. He's passed away now, but
yes.
At the time he was a peer, so I've worked with him on that kind of level. Mm-hmm. I didn't do any of his courses or anything like that. I met Bob through another friend, Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I guess that, their work is quite similar in ways. Bob kind of came to the fore with the law of attraction, which is a concept that became very popular a few years ago. Oprah got her hands on one of the books, and I suppose it just exploded. But one thing that I think Bob and Mark and many other people who are truly, for want of a better phrase, successful, is, and it wasn't really spoken about with the law of attraction, is a law of vibration, which means that you actually have to get up and do something. and you have to take action. So Bob would have been very much about taking action and doing things in order to make yourself successful or to get the goal that you want achieved. But all of the people that I would have worked with at that level would have similar kind of mindsets. And mindset is huge when it comes to any achievement. I mean, you can look at, if somebody, for example, has a massive company and, they're a billionaire, and then you look at somebody else who has the same industry type, yet they're not a billionaire. So one of the things that actually intrigued me, and I suppose this is how I started meeting a lot of people, was what is it that makes somebody successful? And my definition of success is being the best that you can be. So for me, because of, I did have a difficult past, and it got to a stage where I've studied psychology, but it was, that wasn't enough for me. So I had to find people who had what I wanted. Enough. No, it wasn't, believe it or not.
There's a lot in that,
look, I mean, sometimes when things happen, to people, somebody can say, you're great, you have everything that it takes, all the techniques can be thrown at you, and, the whole lot. But sometimes that might not be enough to bring someone out of a difficult place. So for me, at that time, I thought it made sense to find people who had what I wanted. And that could be in any industry. I mean, you're talking like Olympians, top people in fitness, loads of different aspects. But the ultimate thing that I wanted to find out was, what is success as a process? So what does it take? And I found there were differences amongst people who were achieving those top goals in any industry. Than people who had, maybe you can have an athlete, for example, and they're great, but they're not an Olympian. So I wanted to know what was the difference between someone who is an Olympian and someone who is a great athlete. And there are common things, or if you want a recipe for success, but your mindset is huge. And anybody that you know that is even, I suppose when people say who is successful or who would you like to sit down for dinner with and have a conversation with, and certain names come to mind. But if you ask them, they'll all say the same thing. It's their mindset that got them there. It's the people they surround themselves with. It's the information they feed themselves every day. That can't be a coincidence. So I think once I started doing that, I started modelling many people who are successful, and what am I putting into my mind? Who am I around? What am I listening to? Ultimately, I call it environmental programming, which is what I talk about in one of the books. And it's every single moment of your life you're exposed to information of one type or another. Even here, it could be a word, an image, or whatever, but your brain is constantly responding to that. And it will give you a physical response. So if I, for example, get a fright from watching a movie, my body will physically respond and make me feel a certain way. The problem that's easy to see in a movie context, but what people don't realise is that every single millisecond of a conversation with somebody, or of somebody telling you a bit of news or hearing news on the radio, your body tries that on, and it will give you the chemical response to that, because there's part of your brain that can't tell the difference between what's real or imagined, your amygdala. So I think if people realise, that what you put into your mind is ultimately going to affect your results, your outcomes, your body, everything, they'd be a lot more focused on who they're around and what they do and what they take in.
And when you say the mindset, you kind of structure yourself to be in a certain environment, or you're planning ahead as such, as where you shouldn't be or where you don't want to be. Is that when you're
100%?
Yeah.
Look, I get asked out for coffee so many times, right? Because I need to pick your brains. Is a phrase of people. I want to pick your brains. It's like, I don't want my brains picked. Thanks very much. But then I see time has been very, very valuable, and you have to. You're trading your time every moment.
100%.
And a lot of people aren't conscious of that. So I would choose, what is the purpose of having a cup of coffee? I like to have fun, don't get me wrong, and 100% I love meeting people for coffee, but, what is the purpose? Is it for, friendship? Is it for a business idea? Is it for, I want to know, because every moment that you're exchanging that is a chunk of your lifetime. So I would always respect people's time. I would always, if I'm meeting them, I'd tell them why I'm meeting them. And that then it allows you to select. And it's not a snobbery thing. It does sound a bit snobby, but it's not. You're being more selective with what you let into your brain. So I don't watch, for example, I don't listen to the news or watch the news. If something is really important, guaranteed someone's going to tell me. And that has been stood true to me for my entire life.
I'm the same. I don't watch that. No interest.
Yeah, so, it's if I'm hearing about someone on the radio, for example, and they've been, stabbed or something, I have to visualise that and put it in my mind. and then have the physical response. And this is, for the most part, it sounds a bit odd, but for the most part, it's at an unconscious level. But nonetheless, if you're hooked up to a scanner or an MRI scan, you can actually see it happening in your brain. So for me, it's one of the things that I studied was success, and I learned about the brain and, did it matter or not, or, different theories and whatever. And I kind of whittled it down to what actually does work, and being selective about your time, about who you're around, how you fill your life moments. For me, is one of the, it's key. And I guess one person that brought this to the fore for me was a good friend of mine. He's a billionaire. And I remember him telling me one day that he had a meeting arranged in a hotel with somebody, and the person turned up 15 minutes late and he left. And at that time I thought, this is a bit rude, you could have waited on or whatever. And this was now maybe about 17 or 18 years ago. And he said, for every moment I sat there waiting for that person who didn't call, didn't text, or didn't let me know that they might be late, I traded it for being with the people that matter most to me. Mm-hmm. I actually thought, you know what, that is actually true. So I think maybe people, should be more respectful of their time and of their life and who you fill it with and what you fill it with. And certainly if you look at anybody who's extremely successful in any area, you'll find that they do the exact same thing.
And that's kind of exactly what you're doing at the moment, because you're empowering a lot of women in the last couple of years. And so you have the Women's Empowerment Summit. Could you tell, for people who don't really know what that's about, tell our viewers what that's about? That'd be
You're
great.
telling me now, actually.
Yeah, telling him. He
telling
doesn't
you.
clue.
I was well into
I'll
the but
educate you.
I'm actually interested to know.
Well, I didn't want to say that now, Stephen.
Well, when you hear the Women's Empowerment
ganging
Summit,
up on me
you can imagine, exactly, you can imagine women ganging up on everybody, and, we're out there with the big signs,
Well, we are, no, we're
women are
joking.
better. And you know what, that's not what it's about
No.
at all. The word empowerment is what it's about. And I believe men and women are equal. I also believe we're very different. And given at any kind of event, if you have an event, for example, with all men, the dynamic is going to be different, the things you share are going to be different, the way you behave is going to be different to all women, or a mixture of both men and women.
Yeah.
So I did one women's event with actually not really the intention of continuing it on. It just went a lot better than I thought. Somebody had said to me, you should really do a women's event, because obviously people follow what I do. And I thought, I don't know, that, I'm not into this women-men thing, but I did one. And I realised the dynamic when you have all women in a room is very different. Relationships are hugely important to women. Connection is hugely important. Obviously to men too, but it's of a different kind of importance. So I believe that every person, male or female, should work on being the best version of themselves. No matter what it is that you want, you've got to be your best to do it. And for this particular event, the Women's Empowerment Summit, is for women in a room on that particular day to literally work on being the best that they can be. Leaving the past behind. Past does not define you. I empathise with everybody's past, but it's not your identity. And it's about stepping up from, everything that you've been through and everything everybody says to you and all the doubts and all the fears, and saying, actually, what do I really want? And then exploring that. What is it that I really want? When I get up in the morning, I just want to, go for it. And when I go to bed at night, just before I go to sleep, I think, that was a fantastic day.
And you even had a best-selling book that came from the Women's Empowerment Summit.
I too, actually.
Oh, you too? Wow.
Yeah, it was called We Summit Together, and that's the slogan of the event. And those books arose because so many women said, I have a story and I want to tell it on stage and I want to empower people. And everybody does, and all the stories are equally valid and all the tools are equally valid. But you can only have so many events, so many speakers. So we did a book, and each chapter is from a different type of empowerment. And collectively, with 15 or 20 people in a book, they all share different life experiences. It was led by me, so it was very purposeful in the content and the direction of the book. But either way, with each person, they all had something of a nugget to give. So I was confident that whoever read it, they get something from it. And then hopefully they would put that into action and use so that it could improve their lives.
What did you say the name of that book was?
We Summit Together.
We Summit Together.
Yeah.
And does it say on the book, just out of interest, does it say about women's empowerment, like on the title of the book as well, like, or anything, or is it,
it's a collection of empowerment or transformational stories.
Yeah. No, the reason why I'm asking, I was going to ask you, are men reading these books as well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I wanted to know.
But it's just,
I mean genuinely, your audience just for women.
No, and this is, and I think it's really important for people to understand that it is not, I'm not pro women, leave men out of it.
Yeah.
That actually is the total opposite of what we should be doing. We should, be embracing everything that men are. Men should embrace everything that we are. And as we actually complement each other very well. But I think it's when people fight, it's like, I'm a woman, I have to do this, or I'm a man and this is what I do. And that's an ego thing. Like, you have equally valid strengths, different ones, and they completely complement each other. And I think if society lived a little bit more like that, we'd be a lot happier. So men do read the books, as Angel said, probably silently, because they're not going to tell everybody that. But I get messages from people that such and such a thing. I tried it, it worked for me, and where that really inspired me. So it can go from something just by basically being inspired can be enough sometimes. And then sometimes people need the skills, they need the tools, and there's that in them as well.
And you're always inspiring people. In fact, you're even inspiring yourself, because I know for the last 18 months you've been working on a new project. Any chance you could tell us something about that? That'd be wonderful.
Well, when you are on a constant journey for exploration, and I always say, like, let's give it a go. I just love that phrase. It's like someone comes to me and says, right, let's give it a go. It could be anything. It's just something fun can turn into something amazing, as any idea that has been huge always has. So during lockdown, a company approached me. They're a manufacturing clothing company. And I thought, what on earth would I be, doing clothes for? And I used to do modelling when I was younger. And I thought, no, that's kind of fun. And then I was doing a lot of mini trampolining during lockdown, because the gyms weren't open. For health, I believe physical fitness is really important. People were always asking me about, kind of what clothes do we wear? And I thought, actually, this would be a great opportunity. So I said, let's just give it a go. Yeah. So I'm releasing my own clothing line.
Fantastic.
So it's different, but it's complementary to what I do. So
is your name on it?
It's Donna Kennedy Clothing, yes.
Well,
and
fantastic.
it's called the
That's
BU
brilliant.
collection.
BU collection. I like
And I think it's being you is the key. There's so much competition, there's so much comparisons and judgment in society, totally unnecessary. And I think if people got in touch with their unique identities, their unique self, like, there's not one single person on the planet the same as any other. So people, in the midst of all their comparisons and competition, they just get lost within that, and egos start to grow, and you don't create anything wonderful out of that. But I think if people got back to just being themselves, strengthening their character, being unique and in everything and embracing everything that means, like, we could have an awful lot more fun and create an awful lot more great things. I mean, I would just, that's my goal for people, is to just be you.
Well, you're bringing an awful lot of fun and being you to the world, that's for sure.
And I don't intend to stop.
Keep it going.
Success, like, it's unbelievable. It's 7 times with the books, like, and now you're taking on this, like, what a change to go on to. It's
oozing out of you, Donna.
Well, oozing is it. I think, and it could be, different things along the way, but I just think that our minds are to continually grow. And I think amazing ideas can sometimes be shot down because of people's doubts, because people are conditioned to say no, because of people's fears, and if I do this, what do people think of me? I have under no illusion that when I release this line, I'll have people potentially slate me. What do you know about clothes? And it's, well, I wear them every day, I know plenty. But you could focus in on the one or the two. But what about all the amazing people that you can help or you can lighten up,
Absolutely.
There's always going to be people going to criticise you doing something. If you're in the entertainment world, that's the way it's going to be. As such, like, writing a book or clothing line, anything, like,
for sure.
You just got to ignore them, I assume. That's part of the mindset as well.
Well, what I do is I actually acknowledge them completely, but I see it as, it says a lot more about them than it does about me. If I look at people who are successful, and again, that's been the best that you can be, you'll never find somebody who's very successful pulling somebody else down.
No.
You never will.
Very true, yeah.
The people who are pulling people down are people who don't have what it is that they're pulling down. So you have somebody who creates an amazing business, for example, and a person who doesn't have an amazing business will come along and criticize them. Who do you think you are? Or you're getting too big for your boots or whatever. Somebody does something really well, and I'm the first there to congratulate somebody. It's you should celebrate people's successes. Very recent, I went and supported a couple of clients that were doing awards dinners, and you have people say, well, you didn't win the award. They were a finalist.
Yes.
You don't get to be a finalist.
Yeah.
Now, some did win the awards, but you don't get to be there unless you've been through that process. And I said to one in particular, how many businesses has that person set up? the person who said that to you? And they said, well, none. And this particular person had also written a book. And I said, how many books have they written? None. Well, I said, there you go, then that's your answer. They should want what you have. So it's easier to criticise than to get up and do it themselves. So I think once you can compartmentalise those two types of people, you acknowledge that they're there. You can't really ignore it as such because, you know, if somebody says something and it can initially hurt, but it's acknowledging it and then not letting it become you. And I think that's the key to moving forward.
Well, it's been wonderful having
Yeah.
you on the show, Donna. Absolutely, the biggest ray of
Thank you
sunshine.
very much. We're just getting a nod
Yes,
there
we're getting
for
a nod,
time and
yes.
that, you know. Your books and the clothing line, where can people find it, I suppose, just to tell the
DonnaKennedy.com.
And as regards the empowerment?
Yeah, wesummit.ie.
Summit.
If they go on actually to DonnaKennedy.com, actually there's a free
Everything's
ebook there with a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about. So if they go on there and, you know, can tell them about the events, I'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Thank you.
Delighted for you to
See you
come.
again
We could have,
soon.
there was so
Yeah,
much
we
more we
could
could
have
have
kept
covered. We could have kept going, but we're going to have to get on. But thank you very much
Thanks
for
so
coming.
much
It's
for
lovely to
having
meet you.
me.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Folks, our second guest tonight is an up-and-coming young vocalist called Gaeity Harris from Dublin, who recently completed her honours degree in vocal performance and commercial modern music at the British Institute of Modern Music. And a theme for her final performance exam, women's empowerment. Gaeity has performed on some of Dublin City's most famous stages, including the National Concert Hall, the Helix and Vicar Street. She's a versatile and expressive performer with an aptitude for all styles of singing, and she's working on her debut original EP. Folks, please welcome Gaeity Harris.
Well, they paved paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. And don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They took all the trees and put them in a tree museum. And they charged the people $1.50 just to see them. Said, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Hey, farmer, farmer, put away that DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, but save me the birds and the bees. Please, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Ooh, la, 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 la. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam. And a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Said, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Oh, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Ooh, they paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Hello, my name is Gaeity. Thanks to the guys for the lovely introduction. I'm delighted to be here on the Stephen Leeson Show. Fantastic theme for the show this evening as well, women's empowerment. Is a theme very, very close to my own heart as a young female artist trying to come up in an industry. So the songs that I'm going to perform over the course of the evening all centre around the same theme. So the first song we had, Big Yellow Taxi, by one of the most iconic female artists of all time, Joni Mitchell. The next piece is a piece called Little Miss Perfect. It's a musical theatre piece, one of my favourite genres, and it also comes from a female perspective. So the theme through the songs is strong female characters, incredible female artists. We have Roberta Flack in there as well later on. So just really using the songs from these incredible female artists, female characters, and just platforming in a way that they deserve to be platformed. straight hair, straight A, straightforward, straight path. I don't cut corners, I make a point to be on time. Head of the student council, I don't black out at parties. I jam to Paul McCartney. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'll say, well, I was adopted when I was 2. My parents spoiled me rotten often. I ask myself, what did I do to get as far as I've gotten? A pretty girl walks by my locker. My heart gives a flutter, but I don't dare utter a word, 'cause that would be absurd behavior for little Miss Perfect. No, 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 no. I can't risk falling off my throne. La, 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 love is something I don't even know. Straight hair, straight A's, straightforward, straight girl, little Miss Perfect, that's me. One night, my friend stayed over, we laughed and drank and ordered something. About her drew me in. What? It's totally platonic. That night was so exciting. Her smirks were so enticing. Hours speed by like seconds. Then what happens is iconic. She takes a sip, I bite my lip. She tells a joke, I nearly choke. She braids my hair, I sit there blacking out for the first time. Next thing I know, I lose control. I finally kiss her, but oh no, I see a face in my window. Then my brain starts to go, na 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 na. No, I can't risk falling off my throne. La 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 la. Love is something I don't even know. Na 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 na. You can't risk falling off your throne. La 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 la. You don't even know. Rewind, induce amnesia. Deny the truth, it's easier. You're just confused. Believe her when she says there's nothing there. It's never worth it when you're little Miss Perfect. One of my favorite musical theater pieces. like the trembling heart of a captive bird that was there at my command. The first time ever I lay with you, I felt your arm so close to mine, and I knew our joy would fill the earth and last till the end of time. The first time ever I saw your face, your face, your face, your face. A beautiful song by an incredible artist, Roberta Flack, one of my all-time favourites. I've been singing that one since I was a very little girl, so it's a really special one for me. The next song is from one of my favourite musicals of all time, Wicked, and I just think that the character who sings it, Elphaba, is just an incredible female character, so I thought this one fit really nicely with the theme. Hands touch, eyes meet, sudden silence, sudden heat, hearts leap in a giddy whirl. He could be that boy, but I'm not that girl. Don't dream too far, don't lose sight of who you are. Don't remember that rush of joy. He could be that boy, but I'm not that girl. Every so often we long to steal to the land of what might have been, but that doesn't soften the ache we feel when reality sets back in. Blithe smile, blithe live, beautiful song from a beautiful show. The next song is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which obviously is originally by Elton John. I've heard some fantastic female artists who've covered this song. Yala is one of my favourites, actually. And I just think the theme of the lyrics of the song, you know, you can't hold me, to go out and to do all the things that you want to do is just so important as a message for women and for everybody. So I just thought this song really fit the theme quite well. So I hope you enjoy it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When are you gonna come down? When are you going to land? I should have stayed on the farm. I should have listened to my old man. You cannot hold me forever. I didn't sign up with you. I'm not a present for your friends to open. This girl's too young to be singing the blues. So goodbye, yellow brick road, where the dogs of society howl. You can't plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow, back to the howling old owl in the woods, hunting the honeyback toad. Well, I finally decided my future lies beyond the yellow brick road. What do you think you'll do then? They'll probably shoot down your plane. It'll take you a couple of vodka and tonics to set you on your feet again, yeah. And maybe you'll get a replacement. There's plenty like me to be found. Mongrels who ain't got a penny, sniffing for tidbits like you on the ground. So goodbye, yellow brick road, where the dogs of society howl. You can't plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow, back to the howling old owl in the woods, hunting the honeyback toad. Well, I finally decided my future lies beyond the yellow brick road. A beautiful, soulful song there. I'm going to get a quick drink of water and then I'm going to leave you off with a song called She Used to Be Mine from another fantastic musical called Waitress. Again, a big thank you to the Stephen Leeson Show and the team for having me here. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I'll leave you with this one. She Used to Be Mine from Waitress. Thanks again. It's not simple to say that most days I don't recognize me, that these shoes and this apron, that place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not easy to know was never attention, sweet center. I still remember that girl. She's imperfect, but she tries. She is good, but she lies. She is hard on herself. She is broken and won't ask for help. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She's all of these mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is good, but she used to be mine. And it's not what I asked for. Sometimes life just slips in through a back door and carves out a person and makes you believe it's all true. And now I've got you, and you're not what I asked for. If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for a chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two for the girl that I knew who'll be reckless just enough, who'll get hurt, but who learns how to toughen up when she's bruised or gets used by a man who can't love. And then she'll get stuck and be scared of a life that's inside her, growing stronger each day till it finally reminds her to fight just a little, to bring back the fire in her eyes that's been gone, but it used to be mine. Used to be mine. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all of these mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be
Wow, what a fantastic show we had here this evening, everybody, with Donna Kennedy and Casey. Thank you so much to them both. Beautiful women and very empowering, I have to say. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you again next week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely,
what do you think,
folks. Yeah, and
Great
we might even get Casey back sometime for an interview and,
Great
and
idea.
to perform again. Sure, why not?
Great
Like, you know. Thanks to the two ladies, folks. Tune in next
Thank
week,
you.
and we'll be here again. Thank you and good night.
Good night. Bye.